2, 1.
We were going to the bingo parlor at the YMCA. Well, one thing led to another, and the instructions got all fouled up.
Lighten up, Francis.
Come, Watson. The game is afoot.
Afoot?
Beginning.
Well, then just say that.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Steel Sanctuary Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Ribeiro from SteelSanctuary.com, and with me is my co-host, Bob Quinn and David Corum. Guys, you feeling okay after the Pirates blew Skeen's lead, and they're about to tank their first of many games this season?
I am not okay. I am not okay.
I am not okay because he was my number one fantasy draft pick. But he still got me 16 points today, even. At least he's not on the hook for the loss.
I don't know how you guys do it watching Pirates year after year, game after game.
It's a sickness.
It is. Speaking of a sickness, I looked it up today, guys. The New York Jets told Aaron Rodgers that they were not going to bring him back on February 13th. We are 41 days into the Aaron Rodgers watch, and we are no closer to a resolution than we were the day they told him that. And now we're getting reports from Adam Schefter that he's thinking about retirement, and we're getting other reports saying the Vikings have jumped back into this. I don't know. I don't even know what to think anymore.
I don't see how any report could say the Giants have jumped back in on that.
I mean, did I say Giants? I meant Vikings.
Vikings.
I'm sorry,
okay,
Vikings.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. The Vikings are apparently back in it.
So we have full faith in J.J. McCarthy, and without him practicing at all, now all of a sudden, I think Florio was right because he is a big Vikings fan. He doesn't think the Aaron Rodgers is legit. He doesn't think it to the Vikings is legit. He thinks it's just people. You hate to say anybody's making something up, but they're just guessing.
You want to know what I'm worried? I'm worried that Uncle Aaron went and met with distillers for 6 hours and sat down with Arthur Smith and watched film and went, these guys are fucking clueless. And he does not want nothing to do with us. That's what I'm wondering.
I mean, it could be true.
Like, think about it. 6 hours, and it's now he's either going to retire or whatever. Like, interesting.
Well, and bear in mind, Adam Schefter is very good at his job. He gets paid a lot more to do his job than we do. But at the same time, it's not like he hasn't made something up before. I think, if he was going to retire, he would have retired. I don't think he's going to drag out if he feels like retirement is his best option. I just think I still think he's just waiting for the McAfee thing. I think he's just waiting to announce. I think the handshake deal has been done, and it's not silly to Rodgers though.
Yeah, I know, but to your point, I think him and Aaron Rodgers and Adam Schefter have gone back and forth. They don't have a good relationship. I think because Aaron Rodgers doesn't give him shit, so Schefter doesn't like him. I mean, he's almost come out and said that he doesn't like Aaron Rodgers. So anything Schefter gets about Rodgers, it's not coming from him, 100%. He's getting it from somewhere else, or to your point, maybe making some stuff up. I do feel like the national media really doesn't like Aaron Rodgers, and I see a lot of grenades lobbed his way by these guys. He's egotistical. He's doing this just to get attention. You hear a lot of stuff from the national media. I guess when you snub them all the time, you make some people not like you. So I don't know what to believe when it comes to national media, because I think a lot of them are just taking shots.
Yeah.
And I think Schefter is definitely one of them.
I mean, it's almost funny who they don't like more. And say what you will, Rodgers' narrative pre-COVID and post-COVID, he went from being beloved and protected to hated. And it is what it is. We're not going to litigate that. But you have got to really piss people off to where the national media is now making it out like somehow Russell Wilson, who they hated until it was Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, now all of a sudden Russell Wilson is the greatest guy.
See what Gabe's saying here? Yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
Rodgers spent 1 minute to steal his coaching staff and was like, "Oh, I thought these guys could coach shit," and he walks away.
Actually, to be honest with you, I think it was just the opposite. I think if he sat and met with them for all that time, he's like, okay, they don't know anything, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. Okay,
I hope you're right. I don't know, man. I just think it's really, I don't know. It just doesn't. I hope you guys. Well, there's a lot of things I'm hoping you're right about what you're saying right now. One, hope you're right that maybe Schefter's full of shit. And two, maybe you're right. Maybe he thinks, oh, well, they don't know anything, so I can take control of this. But I don't know. It doesn't. And then when you hear the Vikings are still now in the mix, I like, what?
And the Vikings are back in it now. I could totally see that because they don't know where J.J. McCarthy is.
No.
He hasn't practiced. He hasn't thrown a ball. He's still rehabbing. They don't know. And they don't really have a backup for him yet. Right? I mean, who else is on that roster? Nobody. So I can see the Vikings, being lukewarm, dipping their toes in the Aaron Rodgers thing every once in a while. It's probably a money thing. They don't want to pay him $30 million. But if he agrees to go there for 10.
10? Rodgers?
He's not going to go for 10.
He's out of – it's either Pittsburgh or he's going to have to accept less money because the Giants are out. And who's left? If the Vikings say, because I think it's clear he's waiting for the Vikings to make a move.
The Vikings would have the cap space to pay him $25-30 million.
Do they want to do that, though?
Look, if you think Aaron Rodgers is signing anywhere for $10 million after Russell Wilson signed a $10 million deal, that's not happening. I mean, if he goes somewhere, he'll go for. I think he will take 25 to 30. He could probably push somebody and could have got more. I think the Giants would have paid him 40 in a second. I just don't think he wanted to go there.
He didn't want to go there, yeah.
But if Purdy,
I don't know if he wants to come to Pittsburgh either.
If the Purdy situation doesn't resolve itself, keep an eye on that. But it's not that he doesn't want to come to Pittsburgh. I mean, this would be on his current choices his best team to have a shot at winning with. He wasn't going to win with the Giants. He wasn't going to the fucking Browns. The Minnesota thing, I don't see it.
He may not think he's going to win with the Steelers either.
The reports are the Steelers are willing to pay him $30 million. That there's best chance to win. They're willing to pay him. What's the holdup?
You see, you're thinking of it like the Steelers have control. They don't.
No, I know they don't have control.
They never did.
Totally aware of that.
There is never going to be a scenario, and I'm sorry, no team would have this control over Rodgers to say, "Hey, you tell us right now, or we walk." Well, fuck you then. Oh, wait a minute. What we meant was, you tell us when you feel like it, Aaron.
Well, that gets back to my point of why are we desperately attached to a 41-year-old quarterback that we don't even know can play anymore? Granted, he's a legend and he's got a Super Bowl ring and he's been good through most of his career, but we don't know if he's completely lost it. Why are we tethered to him and only him and nobody else?
The last 6 games of last year show that he hasn't lost it. And once he was kind of working his way back, the last 6 games, he played very, very good. You take away the first 6 games where he really didn't play well because you could see he was rusty and limited. And he had a really good year. I mean, everybody throws up that Russell Wilson from 2 years ago, 26-8 in Denver. Okay, Rodgers was better last year than Wilson was in Denver. Is he at the top of his game? No.
It was the polar opposite has with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russ went way down as Rodgers climbed. I mean, that really was what happened.
Don't get me wrong. I wanted him. I still want him, but I'm fed up. I don't know how the Steelers have this patience for this. Because ultimately they do have control, Bob, because they can walk away. They can walk away and say, well, no, we're not waiting any longer.
No, they can't. They really can't.
That's frustrating.
This is about 9-10 wins, guys. That's what this is about. They want to secure their 9-10 wins, and that's what this is really about. What's up, Somber?
And bear in mind, once you got in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, once you got in.
I hate that you're right about this, but you are. I hate it.
This is what you signed up for.
I know.
You either say, okay, we're going to go. And look, for whatever reasons, they blew off Fields. And I listened to some of this in the car today, 93.7. I don't forget who was sitting in with Pompiani for Starkey because he's on vacation. And he was making the point of You wouldn't pay Fields because you didn't think he was the guy. And what you didn't want to pay him, you didn't want to commit to him. You didn't want to commit to Darnold past 1 year. They offered Darnold basically a 1-year guarantee you could be the starter. As far as the rest of your contract, who knows, who gives a fuck? We don't even know that they offered him 20, 30 million. Okay, so you weren't committed to these guys. The only guy who you can get, who you can say, look, the only guy we'd be all in on, and because we'd have to be, is Rodgers, because he only has 1, maybe 2 years left. So if you're going to go down that road, you bring in Mason as a backup, and then, who knows? But
yeah, but there's a very real possibility right now that he could say, "Fuck it, I retire." And then they're screwed.
I don't think so.
Or the Vikings could come in last minute and say, all right, come on over for a season. It looks like J.J. McCarthy. And then what do they do after that? We roll with Mason Rudolph, and like Vaughn says, we'll have a 5-win season.
And get a
They've
good
left themselves. This has been poorly handled.
Or it's been masterfully handled.
How is this masterfully handled? It's April. I mean, it's almost April. They don't have a quarterback.
Stillers and masterfully handled.
No.
Yeah, because
Bob,
there's only one way you're going to get to a top pick.
Well, I don't know. Don't give them that much credit. They're not that smart.
So are we talking about the whole
tank thing?
Preparing for 2026? Because, I mean, if you're talking about that, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, and it's not even tanking. You just throw Rudolph out there and say,
which is tanking.
And tell your fan base who has been screaming that it's been unfair. I swear to God, I tried to call in when that guy came out with it today that Rudolph had never had a fair shot. Pompiani shot him down quick. He's like, oh yeah, he didn't get to start a bunch of games when Ben was hurt. So yeah, but it puts to bed once and for all. One of the two things will happen: either half of the fan base was right that Mason got screwed. Now he got his chance. We're great. We don't need a quarterback. Or half of the fan base was right. Mason's terrible. And now we're in a position to pick a quarterback.
I don't see any scenario where they win. They go over 500 with Mason Rudolph. I can't see it. This roster's not talented enough around him. I mean, the talent, they were better in 19 when he had a chance to start with that all-star defense, and they still had some pretty good players. On offense, they had, I think Lev Bell was still there in 19, right? And Antonio Brown was.
Lev Bell was not there in 19.
But Antonio Brown was still here.
No, Antonio Brown was not there either.
Oh, that's right. They were both gone.
By 18, they all were gone.
Yeah, that's right. My bad. I still think that team was better.
Ben came out and he's like, I'm going to have my prove-it year without Antonio, without Lev Bell, and blew out his elbow.
All right. Let's stay on the quarterback thing. It was reported today by, what's his name on Fox, that the Steelers have definite interest in Jalen Milroe at 21. And, man, I'm telling you, I know Bob doesn't believe it at all.
Yeah.
They took him out for a dinner for his pro day. People were saying how in love Mike Tomlin was. And remember who's running this operation. Mike Tomlin was in love with the guy at the combine. I would go batshit crazy if they did it, but I would not surprise me.
And he didn't even look good at the combine. I mean, honestly.
No, he didn't. But
there's no fucking way. There's no.
It could happen.
It's beyond out of touch. It really is. It's one of the worst national media takes I've seen, and I've seen some buttes over the last couple of years.
Right.
But I mean, it is beyond. Look. Could somebody reach for Milroe in the second? Yes, that is definitely possible. But him as a first-round pick, now you're going to suggest to me that Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, and Jalen Milroe are going to go in the first place?
No, I think
in the first round, no.
I think if all those, I think if those other quarterbacks went, they're assuming Pittsburgh would take one of them. So if Milroe gets taken over, Dart or Shuck, then they don't make the first round, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can think what you want, but Colin Cowherd, and I don't like him. I don't. I think he's kind of a moron, but he does talk to people. He does have somebody told him this. Now, does that person know what they're talking about? Who knows?
He's never been right about the Steelers. Never.
Yeah.
I cannot think of one time he was right.
Probably not. He did say it was just an executive in the league, not somebody from the Steelers, an executive in the league that knows him, and that knows the Steelers a little bit. Said they're absolutely over the moon with Jalen Milroe, which would be a complete disaster. This would be Kenny Pickett all over again. It would weak draft, quarterback with a bunch of questions, draft him anyway. 2021, right? They drafted Kenny Pickett, what, 20th overall? Was it 20th? It was 20th, I think.
20th. It was 20th.
Yeah, and now with the 21st pick, one pick later, they're going to take Jalen Milroe.
Guys, this is a day 3 pick. I to have this conversation, I can't believe someone out there is putting this out there. Like, there's a lot of words I could use to describe this that I'm not going to say out loud. So the nicest word I can say is stupid.
Keep in mind, too, they don't have a second-round pick. So chances are it's probably 50-50 that Jalen Milroe would be there late in the third for them to take. So if they want him and they want him guaranteed to get him, they have to take him at 21.
But look, dude, we're hearing they love everybody. They love Milroe. They love Jackson Dart. They like McCord. They like Howard. They like, I'm hearing.
Yeah, but they didn't take any of these guys out for a pro day dinner.
Not true. Howard,
they took 10 guys out to that dinner.
Howard, they did the thing at the combine with him, and they did the thing with him at Ohio State.
True. You're right. So, but Howard is absolutely not a first-round pick. But
every
neither is Milroe,
national pundit, they love this guy. They love that guy. So far now, I've heard they're going to take Dart 21. They're going to now Milroe 21. Pretty soon, by next week, we're going to hear, they're going to take Howard 21. Like, they love everybody. I don't buy it, man.
I mean,
I don't buy it. Like, I just don't buy it.
I hope you guys are right.
Every single fucking week, it's they love this guy. Bullshit. It's the national media and they're fucking bullshit. Period.
The only quarterback they'll take at 21, and I'm back to I think I'm going to be right about originally he wouldn't get past the top 5, is Shedeur. If he fell somehow, some way, if he falls to 21, that's the only guy I see them taking in the first round. Otherwise, and they're not going to. And I would be willing to bet they're not going to take a quarterback in the third either. They're going to wait till the 4th, maybe the 5th.
And that's where I'm at because of the draft value. The only guy they should be taking at 21 is if Shedeur Sanders falls, and that's it. But Bob, you might be right. I'm looking at these teams, and there's a bunch of teams that could take a quarterback before the Steelers. So that's what worries me, that they could go way, out of control here and take somebody early. But go ahead.
Wouldn't it be awesome if Sanders goes 3 to the Giants? And then Russell Wilson. I'd feel bad for Jameis, to be honest with you. But for Russell to be like, and of course he's doing his Russell thing at the Knicks game last night.
Of course.
I would just love to. I'd just love to see it.
The politicians.
Yeah, we're going to get to Russell right now, but I just want to leave this at this. Don't take anything off the table when it comes to the Steelers. This is an organization that knew Ben Roethlisberger was done a year or two before he was done and didn't do anything about it. Drafted Kenny Pickett, signed Mitch Trubisky, Russell Wilson, had Justin Fields and let him go. It's not like this team is on their game with a quarterback. So I wouldn't take anything off, including drafting Milroe at 21. Would not shock me.
But remember, in the 90-year history of the team, they've taken a quarterback in the first round 4 times.
But Bob, they hadn't taken an offensive line, a left tackle in the draft in 20-something years, and they did it back-to-back years. These things end up being cyclical and broken. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they hadn't picked a tackle in a long time. It wasn't unprecedented. Quarterback, 4 times. Bradshaw, Malone, Roethlisberger, Pickett. That's it. The whole history of the
they just did it
franchise.
3-4 years ago. And they're going to have to do it again either this year or next year. Right? They're going to have to.
I tell you what, I'm gonna predict right now they're not taking a quarterback till as long as Shedeur Sanders doesn't fall. Minus that. They're not. I don't want Shedeur Sanders. They're not taking a quarterback until if Rodgers doesn't come sign with the Steelers. This is my prediction.
So wait,
they're going to draft a quarterback. What?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
They're gonna if Rodgers doesn't sign, we'll say by draft. They're going to take a day 3 quarterback. That's my prediction. They'll take a day 3 quarterback just because they need a third guy, and then they're going to roll with Mason. That's what I think, because then 2026 will be the actual year that they'd be smart to go get one early. This is what I would like to think this organization would do.
Me too.
Like
Me too. But what evidence have they shown you that they know the right thing to do?
Look, I will be absolutely dumbfounded if they take one of these other guys, 21. I will. How you take a quarterback that there's just no way. The only thing Milroe offers, the only thing he offers is speed. That's it. That's all he offers.
I mean, and I don't hate Milroe in the third, fourth round. I wouldn't mind it. Take a shot. Whatever.
He's not
but not
Lamar
the first
Jackson.
round.
This isn't Lamar.
No,
Jackson.
he's not.
Like I don't I don't know what to tell nobody. I mean, you're at Alabama and all you muster up is 16 touchdown passes. Like almost had as many interceptions. Like not good at Alabama.
Well, listen, his scouting report I heard today. Very athletic, inaccurate in the short and medium ranges. Great deep ball.
Oh Jesus Christ!
What is this team looking for with Pickens and DK Metcalf? Great deep ball. Won't throw it in the middle because the Steelers won't let him. And then they can teach him how to throw a screen.
He throws such a great deep ball at Alabama that he only managed to complete 16 touchdowns to Alabama receivers.
Right, that's my fucking point.
I don't know.
That's like that one play I almost lost my mind with Jackson Dart. People saying, see, he does have a good arm and can read a defense. It's the classic Lane Kiffin read pass option where he's going to hand the ball to the running back. There's one read guy streaking down the sideline, and he throws it. And the guy contested catches it. He didn't even lead him. And all of a sudden, he can read a defense? Yeah, he can read a defense, all right.
I don't feel like getting into the Jackson Dart thing.
For me, it was the same with Shuck. I mean, I like Shuck as a day 3 guy, but there was a lot of games where his wide receivers made plays for him. Really did.
Yeah.
So, like, how much of that do you take into account here, man? But we're gonna take a guy that had 16 touchdowns at Alabama, 21 overall. Get the fuck out of town. I just don't see it.
Don't take anything off the table. Don't be surprised.
They're idiots. Like say. Literally idiots.
I can tell you right now, they're not going to take guys 30 to 60 to, in some cases, 90 picks ahead of where they should go.
They did it with Kenny Pickett. They did it with Kenny Pickett 3 years ago.
No, they didn't. Kenny Pickett was clearly the best quarterback in the class.
He was
the best quarterback available to them.
Dave, he was projected late first rounder. Remember?
But he was. But his talent, what was his talent?
Yes, I understand that. But the projection, you're talking about projections here. He was projected end
I'm
of
talking
the
about
first
talent.
round. Well, talent-wise, Jesus, that whole draft class.
He's a 6th round talent. They took at 21.
Third round and down. Like, it was horrible.
He wasn't a 6th round talent. He was a 3rd round talent.
It was 3rd round talent, and then he was projected though to go in the 1st. It was either going to be him or Malik Willis, one of the two. But Malik ended up falling all the way to the 3rd.
Yeah. So did everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah. They shouldn't have picked. The point being, they should never have picked Kenny Pickett 21.
So I'll be shocked. I'm telling you, I'll be shocked if they take Milroe at 21. I won't be happy with Dart either. No offense. If they take Shuck day 3, 3rd round, I'll be pissed. Like, they're just, we can't do this. We can't. This is not the draft. It just fucking isn't. Why is it always the draft when it's not the right draft?
I'm telling you,
looking to go get a quarterback. That's what kills me.
If they hadn't taken Pickett and committed to him and done all that, if they just rode Trubisky and Mason that year in camp, they would have been. They started out 2-7. They would have finished with a top pick in a good quarterback draft. All right, maybe not the top pick, but they would have had their choice of a pretty good quarterback draft. They didn't. I just conceivably, as bad as the Steelers are at evaluating quarterbacks, I just can't see them making the exact and arguably an even worse mistake.
It would be a worse mistake. It would, but again, I don't know. Like I said earlier, you're talking about a team that's consistently fucked up at quarterback for 5 years running now. So again, we'll just leave it at that. Russell Wilson did sign with the Giants this week. 1 year, $10 million guaranteed with some, things that could get him up to $21 million if he, wins the Super Bowl and hits the lottery. But
if he comes up with a good catchphrase, I think they give him an extra $1 million.
Catchphrase.
If he doesn't come up with a catchphrase, they probably pay him $3 million just to keep quiet. But
yeah, exactly.
I don't know what the Giants are thinking here. They're as bad at they're the same thing as the Steelers. They don't know what the fuck they're doing at quarterback either. They had a bad draft, just like the Steelers did, picked a bad quarterback. Now they're taking Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, and holy shit. They might be worse than the Steelers, actually.
Yeah, but they're not because they got the third pick in the draft. So
that's true.
If they like Shador, they're good. If they don't like Shador and they go and get Travis Hunter or one of these other guys that are going to be available because it looks like Tennessee's going to take Cam Ward now. If they pull that off, they're going to suck with Russell Wilson next year. It's going to look good for about 5 games during the season. Malik Neighbors is probably going to have a pretty good year. And then they're going to be in a top 10 pick for a quarterback next year. So arguably, I kind of rather be in their position situation.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I was just thinking the same thing.
They have the unfortunate thing of they got a high draft pick and a bad draft too. So a bad quarterback draft anyway. I mean, I don't like Shador. I know Bob does. I think other people do. I wouldn't take him 3. I would not take him 3 overall. I'd rather grab.
Well, I mean, he's one of top 2. I mean, that's the guys that are projected.
That's the Kenny Pickett thinking, though. He's the top guy.
That's how you feel. I'm not quite there.
Not Kenny Pickett. Go ahead, David. Shador is not.
I don't quite have him that bad, Dave. But
we'll see.
Shador has performed with bad offensive lines in major college football, and he's
college football. Big 12. You're playing against Kansas State and, Colorado State and.
Who's that running back you like again?
Genty?
Giddens? Where does he play?
Well, he doesn't play. I'm not saying there aren't any good players in that conference, but there's not a lot.
Yeah,
Genty and him might be the only 2 first-round picks.
I don't know. I watched Genty's workout. I was not impressed.
He didn't run the 40, which is interesting. He refused to run the 40 again, which is very interesting.
Look, I'm a fat guy. I'm going to tell you right now, he looked fat to me.
He's thick. I don't know. I wouldn't call him fat. He's well put together. I don't think he's fat. But
you talking about Genty? Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, Genty. Yeah. He refused to run the 40 at his pro day. So
that's concerning to me.
It's a little bit of a red flag.
He would not run his 40. That's interesting to me.
Didn't look great in the drills either. That he did run the cones and I was not impressed. I was like, that cemented Omarion Hampton to me as the top back in the draft.
People were saying he's the cleanest prospect in the draft after his. I didn't watch it too closely, but. They were saying he's the cleanest prospect in the draft after that workout. He must have impressed somebody.
He did look showered and well kept.
I think, to me though, who's telling this kid not to do bro, you should want to maximize. You're already considered technically the best back in the country. Why in the world would you not try to get yourself up into that top 10 conversation and make more money?
You know what it is, Dave?
I don't get it.
I think these pundits saying he's 4.3 without knowing, and he's not, and he knows he's not, so doesn't want to run because that might kill his draft, not kill his, but hurt his draft stock a little bit because.
Do you think he's more 4.5?
Possible.
He looks fast on tape when you watch him, but I don't know.
So does Jalen Warren. When you watch Warren on the field, he looks like he's exploding, but I think it was a 4.55 40.
Yeah, I think he's a little faster than that. But I think it's the 4.3 label that's got him scared. His agent's probably saying, "Don't
There's
run."
something not right there.
Yeah, Somber's right. He's got to be 4.4s.
I would like to think of Somber, but I just don't know, man. To me, it's very weird. Very weird. You would not want to run the 40 and try to get up into that top 10 because I think if he did run a 4.3, he would be a top 10 pick.
And let's be honest,
he still might be anyway.
Maybe
without running it.
Maybe that's what he's being told. Maybe
it's
he's
safer to not run it.
It's safer to not do it because you're already a consensus top 10, top 15. Don't hurt your draft stock.
Yep. Maybe that's got to be it.
If he ran a 4.42, 4.43,
that's still low.
Be a top 15 pick.
Right. That's what I look at too.
But if he runs a 4.48, a 4.49,
yes,
or God forbid a 4.5,
right,
then I go back to saying the same thing all along. He's just a group of 3 or 4 really good backs, and he's
going to slide to the bottom of the first round.
Exactly.
And he could have a day like the kid from Texas did at the combine, where he just had a bad day and then he goes to Texas and runs a 4.3 flat.
You never know. Maybe there's things that said you're not making it past us if you get to us.
And maybe that's true too, and he doesn't have
That's
to
the only
run.
I can think of. I don't know.
That's a good possibility too. And he's just like, fuck it, I don't have to run it because I know where I'm going. That's a good point, Dave. I didn't think of
all
that.
over him.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's got Raiders written all over him.
Yep. Could be.
I refuse to run the. We'll probably find out he's got some crazy incident.
I mean, that's.
I don't wish that on the kid. I don't know what he.
No, I don't. I think he's pretty clean. He's not. There's nothing in like red flags like that. Like he's a punk or anything like that. I think it's pretty.
Right.
He's a pretty good prospect on that.
I don't. Hey, did you guys see that? Sorry, it just.
No, good.
Did you guys see the thing on? I guess it was X where it was leaked from the LSU Pro Day. They weren't supposed to show anything about Kyron Lacey, but it leaked out a little bit.
No
what
way.
He looked like running.
No way.
No, didn't he?
How'd
He's
it go?
low 4.4s.
Yeah, no, the kid's talented. He's a train wreck.
No,
he's a freaking train wreck. It's like involuntary manslaughter is a charge or something on him, right?
It's bad.
If you've got the stones to take him in the 7th or 6th round, you might have something if you can keep him under control, straighten him out. I don't know. He's talented, just like every other LSU kid.
Yep.
Super talented, but
literally,
who knows? Would you take a flyer on him in the 6th round? They don't have a 7th anymore, right?
No, we do have one.
No, they got one. They got one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they got one. Yeah, that's right. One.
In the 7th, I might be tempted.
I might even be tempted in the 6th.
Knowing Mike Tomlin, he probably wants to draft him in the 1st.
Yeah, look at Somber said GP, DK, and Lacey in the slot. You're cooking.
Yeah, you are. It'd be nasty.
You might have 2 out of 3 behind bars by the end of the season.
I was gonna say that's like the most insane.
Oh my god!
Group of wide receivers ever, but it'd be interesting and entertaining. I'll tell you that much.
I mean,
and Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Oh yeah, those guys are going to jail.
Nobody to throw them the ball. They're all just fighting with each other.
They're
on the side, sulking.
Mason in the locker room.
Oh man! All right, let's talk comp picks. This is you guys' one glaring hope that Omar Khan actually has a brain and has a plan because they've got multiple comp picks this year. What was it? Right now it stands at 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. But the 2 of them, they could actually end up with
they could end up with 4 thirds.
Thirds if everything works out.
That's insane, guys.
It's pretty crazy.
Insane. That's
pretty
6
crazy.
picks in the top 3 rounds. Like, fuck yeah, that's amazing. Like,
that's
I
good
am
stuff.
packaging something and I'm going and getting my guy at quarterback. That's what I think
that's the
they're
plan
doing.
all along, then God bless them. I have trouble giving them that much credit, but we'll see.
And you can bet your happy ass I will be there at that fucking draft.
Yeah.
I will be there.
And remember,
I'm negotiating with the wife how many times during the day 3 thing, but I'm working on it. But I will be there, one of them at least.
You look at a couple of years ago when the Ravens had all those picks, it really set them up. Yeah. And I know Kyle Hamilton was one of them, but they maximized those picks. So there's worse things that could happen if they did that. And I think that's why the more I think about a George Pickens trade, if you're guaranteed a 3rd when he walks, and you will be guaranteed a 3rd, okay, fine. I don't think anybody's going to give a 2nd or a 1st for him. If they come calling, you take it. If they don't, you play it out and you're guaranteed a 3rd. So you don't have to. You're going to get probably what you would get if you traded him.
I agree with that. You don't move him unless it's a 1st or a 2nd because you're going to get a 3rd as a comp pick for him anyway.
Yeah,
right.
It won't be till 27 because he's leaving in 26. But it's still, you don't trade him for any less than that unless you're crazy. Somber has a question. Okay, this leads me to my question. Hypothetically, say we take Grant at 21. Yes or no on trading back into the 1st or 2nd to get Hampton? I would absolutely do that, but I don't know if Hampton's going to be there.
For me, it's price, Somber. What do you got to give up to get it, bro? I'm not sure if I want to do that.
One of those 3rds from next year? I don't know if that's enough. I'd probably need more to get back in the 1st round.
Oh, to get back in the 1st, they would need way more than that.
Yeah, even to get an early 2nd.
That's why price wise, I'm not sure it's worth it.
Right, and remember, technically, you cannot trade those comp picks.
Oh, that's true. Well, you can trade your own, knowing you have those comp picks.
Yeah, you could do that, but I know not this draft's got a lot of good running backs. I'm not there for that. Just not.
I'm totally okay with taking taking Hampton at 21 and then getting a different defensive lineman in the third, or trading up in the second to try to get if like Farmer is still around. And
running backs in the first round makes me nauseous.
Yeah, but these two, Hampton and Genty, are different. I would do those two guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we think anyway.
Hampton touched the ball, I think, over 700 times in college and never fumbled once.
700 with 0 fumbles. That's impressive. I will say that.
think about what Najee could have been if he had been fast.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the Hampton takes. He's excellent.
Yeah.
But again, it's no man's land. It's either 21 or you're
Somber
not getting
did a mock where he had to give up a first to get Hampton. See, there's no fucking way, guys. Would you do that? If you already use, there's no way. You can't do that.
You can't give up your first. That's your quarterback next year.
Yeah, right. Like, what are we doing here? No.
Well, you could use your current first to get him, but I wouldn't trade a future first.
What he meant though, what did he say he originally drafted was who?
I missed it.
Was it Nolan?
It's right here.
No, Grant. He said Kenneth Grant.
Oh, Grant. Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember which defensive tackle was he said. Okay. If you do that, then no, you're not trading a first to get back into round 1 to get a Marion Hampton. There's no fucking way I'm doing that. No.
I would have a hard time.
Remember, mock draft season kind of overvalues some guys too.
Yeah.
I like both the Ohio State running backs. Do I think they're all of a sudden borderline first round picks? Which I've seen them going in the first, early second. I don't feel like those two have jumped over Hampton and Genty. I don't think they've jumped over Sanson, in my opinion.
No.
I do think they're top 5 backs.
Yeah.
Right.
Hampton and Genty are going to go top 25, so they're the next guy. They could go late first, early second. Jenkins and Henderson.
Guys, this is a better running back class for me. There's just no way. There's no way.
I think I've come around on Harmon. I like Harmon better than Grant. Maybe I'm making too much of it, but Grant's pro day scares me. It really does. He did not test great.
Yeah, I was a Grant guy, but the testing and stuff like that.
I think I might push him out of the first round. I really do.
Don't forget, though, that the guy is 6'4", 340 pounds.
Correct.
Yeah, but we keep forgetting
that. I made his point, Dave.
Yeah, but this is where those numbers are compared to other 6'4", 300-pound guys.
That's where you got me.
No, they're compared to guys like Ty Robinson, who dropped all the way down to 280 so he could run a fast 40 time.
That's one.
Wait, is it all D linemen or just specifically defensive tackle
tackles
versus defensive ends? Because
defensive ends are like considered edge. That's different.
Okay.
It depends. I don't know where they draw the line from edge to defensive tackle because there's tweeners in there. But
look, all I know is the film shows a guy that's got a fucking motor that doesn't stop.
His highlights. The knock on him is he's inconsistent. He takes plays off and So
it's the knock on Jordan Davis. You're getting a little bit more athletic version of Jordan Davis.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good call.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good call.
So if you're comfortable, not to mention the fact this is a guy that the Steelers have never picked a guy like this to be in the middle of the defense. He's a big, strong, huge guy. They like short, fat guys. No offense, I love Casey Hampton. He's one of my favorite Steelers of all time. But that's who Tomlin sees as his prototype. I want a little squat nose tackle to run out there and clog everything up.
Yep.
Fortunately, the position has evolved.
Yes. True.
Yeah, and you don't take that at 21 when he's going to be on the field. What do they didn't even use a nose tackle half the time, 3/4 of the time. So he's not even going to be on the,
It just depends. Maybe they're looking to evolve a little bit.
Here's a guy who will be around in the third round who I do like as a potential guy. He's a little bit taller, but Alfred Collins, they were at the Texas Pro Day. Don't discount him being in their plans in the third round. I just don't think – I know they need help on the defensive line. I just don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to get a weapon. If they're getting Aaron Rodgers and they know they're getting Aaron Rodgers, I really think they're going to draft a weapon.
I hope you're right. Because that's what I prefer. I just, again, remember who's running this draft. It's Mike Tomlin. What does he love? Defense. What's he probably going to draft? A defensive lineman.
They haven't picked a guy in the first round on defense
because their offense is shattered.
Since Devin Bush.
Yeah, it's true, but we'll see. It's a deep defensive line class, but it's not a great. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of good players. There's not many great players, so I don't know. This stuff 21's not a great spot to be in.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, to me, if you're getting the third defense, look, I like Grant a lot, but if you're gonna draft him, you've got to understand how to use him. I mean, if you were telling me they were going to switch over to the 4-3, then I love Grant, the idea of Grant there. But if he's just going to be your nose, I mean, you can wait. You can wait and get guys who could be nose tackles down the line.
Yeah, that was one of the topics we wanted to get to. Trade down seems to be the best option for the Steelers. The problem is, who's trading up in this draft? For what? Because after the first 5 guys, they're all the same. If you had a general grade for everybody 6 through 50, it'd probably be pretty close in this draft. No one's great. No one's terrible, but it's, you know what I'm saying? And maybe a quarterback. Maybe somebody falls in love with Dart.
Could LA could the Rams jump to 21 to try to grab, if say Shador Sanders falls?
Possibly. If one of the quarterbacks falls, that's the only prayer of trading down. Is if a quarterback falls.
I'm looking at teams here, and it ain't going to be. I'm looking here. It's not going to be the Chargers. It's not going to be Green Bay. It's not going to be the Vikings. It's not going to be the Texans. The only group out of this, not the Lions, not Washington, not the Buffalo Bills, Chiefs, Eagles. The only one that looks like could be somebody wanting to get a quarterback behind the Steelers in the first round is LA.
Or you go early second, and whoever didn't draft a quarterback, like the Giants,
right?
If they don't end up drafting a quarterback, maybe they want to trade up. There's a couple of New Orleans. If they don't get a quarterback, maybe they want to trade up.
Well, hold on now. There's a couple other things to consider besides the quarterbacks. If you're sitting at 21 and all of a sudden, you've got Burden, maybe Golden, maybe a couple of wide receivers on the board.
If Golden's there and the Steelers trade down, we're all going to be pissed off because we want him to stay and take Golden. Well, you don't trade out of that.
Well, would you be pissed off if they traded Buffalo for the 30th and 56th?
And let Golden get away? Yeah, I'd kind of be pissed, man.
No, I think I'd be okay with it.
You get back
to get back in the second round. To get back in the second round, Dave, I think I'd be pretty happy.
Golden ran 4.3, and he's a super elite route runner and everything. And
tons of guys running 4.3 now. So I get it, but
not
still,
with his talent.
There's other wide receivers that you could try to get in this draft.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact you haven't been talking about Golden. You want to go get Hampton at 21. So now I trade back to 30, and Hampton probably is there, so I could take him.
And here's my thing: if you jump to 30 and gain 50, whatever, fuck, dude. Any D lineman that drops down that you could target in the second round if you want to get a playmaker at 30, or vice versa. I mean, that to me that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So if Hampton's there at 21, do you trade down?
If Buffalo's willing to give
30?
us 2 picks for one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you still do it? Mm.
Yeah. Oh my God, you and the goddamn running backs. Yes, it's a running back. Yes.
I'd take one elite player over 2 so-so players any day of the week. Any day of the week.
I'm not convinced you'd only get a so-so player. So let's say you still want
in this draft. Yeah, you're getting maybe above average after. Hampton's probably the last guy you could consider close to elite.
There's gonna be quality guys all the way through the fourth round. You just got to find them. And I'm telling you right now, if you told me right now I can trade Matthew Golden for Jaden Higgins and Joshua Farmer, yeah, in a second, no problem.
You could get just Joshua Farmer in the third anyway.
I don't think he gets past the second. I don't see him going past the top 50.
Yeah. We're going to have to agree to disagree with
this.
One.
I'm sorry. There's just too many good running backs in this draft. I would definitely take advantage of getting back in the second round to try to go after anybody that falls in the first round that moves different positions down the draft board that you could snag in the second round. I'd be all
Vaughn brings up a good point. If you told me I'd trade away from Hampton, but I could get Judkins at 30 and then somebody else, maybe I think about it because I like Judkins a lot. they say Trevion Henderson is the next Jahmyr Gibbs, which would look awful nice in Pittsburgh too. So either one of those guys.
Are you so enamored on the running back position in the first round because of like Saquon Barkley? Like
It's the only talented. It's the only
because
really talented position in this draft.
For 2 years, you've shit
I
on
know,
the
but
Steelers
Dave,
taking a run back in the first round. Now you're
because it's
talking
Najee
about
Harris. Because it's Najee Harris.
I get it, but I mean, go back to then, not what we got from him. Go back to then. Did we think he'd be a good running back? I'm not going to say great,
No,
but I still thought
we were both
thought he'd
pissed.
be good.
I know I was pissed that they took him.
Well, because they took a running back in the first
But
round.
actually, Dave, I was the one telling you I wish the Steelers would take Jahmyr Gibbs. What is it? 2 years later?
You did want them to take Jahmyr Gibbs. I do remember that.
And he went super early. I thought he was going to be late first round with the Lions, and I'm taking him.
It's ended up a pretty
12,
good pick.
13.
So
I want playmakers. Playmakers.
I just don't.
Najee Harris is not a playmaker. He's Najee Harris.
I just want the first round pick to be a slam dunk. It needs to be a slam dunk. It hasn't been a slam dunk for years. Let's be honest. Both. I'm not going after one.
No. I get it. It hasn't been.
Like,
you can't say anything, but it hasn't been.
It has not been a slam dunk anything for us for way too long. That's all I'm saying. It's got to be slam dunk. And some of these guys, especially running backs, it just really worries me. It really does, especially in a draft where there's tons of running backs. It's not like quarterback where it's a consensus of there's 2 that should be in the first round.
Yeah.
And then there's this huge gap. It's not like that. It's different with the running backs.
But
D linemen too.
Those...
There's a ton of D linemen that are good in this draft. So that's my thing.
It's those top 5 guys are like head and shoulders above the rest at running back.
Running back?
Yeah. Genty, Hampton, the 2 Ohio State kids.
I'm not as sold on Genty.
I know you don't like Genty.
I haven't been sold on him the whole process, and I'm sorry.
You're the only guy in America that's not sold on him because everyone else is. You might be right. But
yeah, and I'm not the only guy in America who's not sold on it.
I haven't heard anybody say that.
There's a lot of experts looking at it today, going, "Looked awful slow in them drills. Wouldn't run the 40." And has a ball security issue. Don't forget that.
You keep harping on it. He fumbled twice, dude.
Fumbled
twice.
4 times last season.
4? How many carries did he have? He led the nation in carries.
Yeah, Marion Hampton didn't fumble at all his whole college career. Give me that guy. He fumbled. I think Genty
running backs fumble
14 times in his 3 years.
Running backs fumble.
Occasionally.
One of 4 times out of 800, whatever. I don't know how many carries he had, but it was a crazy number.
Man, I wish
it's like point.
It wasn't 800.
No, it wasn't 800. It wasn't 800. It wasn't even. But still, I mean, I think you're hung up on that when this guy's maybe the best running back since Saquon Barkley.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not even Jahmyr Gibbs.
Bob, I don't want to argue about it.
He's not even Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm telling you right now, just because the guy had one great season, big deal. He fumbles a lot. He refuses to run. He looks slow in the drills. And whoopee, turn on his tape and he looks fast. You criticize the Big 12 competition and you're okay with Genty looking
here's the difference.
Good?
He produced in the playoffs against great teams.
He fumbled the ball away. Absolutely. He produced fumbles right on cue.
Let's move on. Let's move on. What else do we have here? The Steelers hosted Terrence Marshall, the free agent, another LSU receiver that's kind of struggled to catch on in the league. That kind of caught my interest. He tested really well. He hasn't been able to do much in the league. I don't know how you guys feel about him. No?
Testing's great. What have you actually done? And in 4 years, not a fucking thing. This doesn't impress me, though.
Is he under 6 feet tall? Can he join the Lollipop Guild?
No, I think he's a little over 6 feet tall. Let me look him up, bro.
I'm trying to find. I had down like consensus how many players were top 100 every position, and I can't fucking find it.
I got him right here. 6'2", 205. Ran 4.4 flat.
Yeah, couldn't find a place with.
No, I know. There's a reason he's still a free agent out there. I mean, he's better than freaking
almost 500 yards once.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a superstar. I wouldn't mind having him as the 6th wide receiver on his roster and see if he can beat somebody out. I mean, it's not like he's got to pass Lynn Swan and John Stallworth to get a spot in his roster. If we're being honest.
Interesting fact, one of my all-time favorite NFL guys, Joe Delaney, running back for Kansas City, who died tragically in a drowning accident trying to save 2 kids, apparently is his uncle.
Oh, wow.
Terrence Marshall's uncle?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, very interesting.
The Steelers were at Ohio State's pro day. They spent a lot of time with Egbuka there. What would you feel about that if he was the 21st pick overall?
I would not be very happy with a slow guy.
Mid 4.4s isn't slow. He's not a burner.
He ran a 4.48.
I thought he ran 4.45.
I don't know how to put this. Now that they have DK, I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. He's not exactly what I think would be worth it now, to be honest with you.
I told you guys early on in the process, the Steelers going to love this guy because he's a great blocker. He runs good routes. He's got Steelers written all over him. I don't think they do it, but again, it's one of those things you can't rule out because he's an Ohio State kid. He's got good character. You know, they wanted to keep him under 4.5. That was supposedly what would solidify him as a, borderline first-round pick, and he did it. So.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think. At 21, the only receiver
I don't really love it either.
Yeah, the only receiver I could see going in the top 20 is still McMillan, maybe Golden. I think one of our newer people here, Gabe, said don't sleep on Golden. I like Golden. I like Golden a lot. I'm just telling you, if I could get 2 picks for him, I would trade out of him. And if of all the receivers in the first round, I'd probably say Golden is my number one.
I think Golden's.
I think McMillan's just too much of a copy of what we were.
Yeah, you almost got to rule McMillan out. He's too like
Golden seems like the actual complete package.
Yeah.
Well, to me though, if I do trade back, I get the guy who I've loved through the whole process. I get Jaden Higgins. I'm not upset with that either. Give me the 6'4" guy who's not 4.3, but 4.4 is my slot, and who is probably, if not the best route runner in the draft, definitely one of the top 3.
Yeah, I like Noel too somber. I'm hoping he's going to be in there in the 3rd, but I don't think he's going to make it that far for the Steelers.
He might. Worst case scenario, we get Torrey Horton in the 3rd or 4th, and I would be ecstatic with that.
Not having that 2nd-round pick is becoming very annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, because you lop off a whole bunch of players. Going from 21 to the 3rd round.
That's why I'm really starting to be okay with them just trading back. Depending on who's there. Depending on who's there, 21.
You got to find somebody to trade back with.
I will throw a wrinkle in for you. Let's say the Giants don't take Shedeur at 3 and he slides to 21. The Giants could make a play and give us pick 34 and maybe a 2nd and a 3rd to come back up and get Shedeur.
That's the best case scenario for the Steelers. If Shedor's still there at 21 and they don't want to take him, there'll be teams calling.
The Steelers should pounce. The Steelers
100%.
should pounce on that kind of an offer.
Right.
Yeah. That's the best case scenario for the Steelers. He's dropping.
That'd be
and
incredible.
they don't want to take him, so they're shopping. That could turn into something very good. I don't know.
What's that? Stopper said the Saints apparently are interested in McCord. Who aren't the Saints interested in?
Yeah, the Saints need help everywhere.
Why is it?
I tell you who they're not interested in. They're not interested in Derek Carr.
Well, hey, what? Why is it we never hear that the Steelers are interested in Shedeur Sanders? Is it because they think he's going to go too early?
Oh, no.
Probably.
There were rumors when he
are there. I haven't seen any. That's why
I haven't
I'm asking.
seen much either, but I don't think they think he's going to be around.
Yeah,
that's what I usually assume. Is that they just don't think he's going to be there.
Bob and I were talking before you got on. I mean, can the Browns afford to pass on him? All they have is Kenny Pickett on the roster right now.
Dude, they
can't pass Shedeur Sanders, right?
They're screwed themselves, dude.
It is the Browns.
Unless we've heard Kirk Cousins rumors there. That's what they might be waiting on because their coach coached Cousins before, and maybe they're just waiting to make that trade after the draft. But I don't know.
Yeah, good. Make that decision too. Another debacle.
And for my man Gabe here, I will tell you, this whole idea that Dion is going to be around the team, he's coaching Colorado.
Yeah, he's staying in Colorado. It's not like he's leaving or anything.
He'll be involved in negotiations.
He's going to be a pain in the ass. He's going to be a pain in the ass. If something doesn't go right for his son, he's going to yap on TV. He's going to go on the ESPN shows.
Well, he's already saying he wants him to go to New York. He's already saying we want him to go to New York.
Yeah, because New York's third, and it makes him more money.
So,
yeah. It makes him more money. He also gets exposed. He'll get endorsements. Yeah. And look, the Giants actually are a decent situation. You got an offensive-minded coach. You got an unquestioned number one wide receiver.
Neighbors is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Tracy's a pretty good running back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
their defense isn't bad. They've got a couple good pass rushers.
Wide receiver turned running back, and it's working out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Dion won't be there physically, but as soon as something goes wrong for his son, he's going to be a pain in the ass. I can almost guarantee you that.
Oh, if shit goes south, it's going to be bad. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, but it's going to have to be he's got a full-time job coaching Colorado, so it ain't like he's got.
I get what you're saying, Bob. You'd like to think the guy's going to be a little distracted, absolutely. But when he gets a shot, he's gonna be Dion. Let's just put it that way.
And we heard all this same crap with Joey Porter Jr. That no, we don't want him because Joey Porter will be around the team and he'll cause trouble. It's 2 years in, Joey Porter hasn't caused any trouble.
But Mike, he's tight with Mike Tomlin. So
do you think Porter's as bad as Dion though through the years? Like, do you think that? I don't think Porter's been as bad as Dion.
Arguably, I'd say he was worse because Porter.
Really?
And we forget his playing days.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
I loved him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I love him too.
But outside of that, though, he's not been as crazy about stuff with his kid as much as Dion has, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think. Well, Dion's a lot more famous too, so he gets more.
Don't get me wrong. I remember Combine Joey going, "Hey, we want to get, we're hoping he runs this and that stuff like that." But Dion, I don't know, man. It just seems like he's a little more over the top.
I mean, right off the bat, the one thing I would ask is, Dion can't be too over the top because 2 colleges entrusted him to be the head coach. You think Joey Porter can't get a job as an assistant coach anymore?
Yeah.
So
also, Dion said he's not going to certain spots. We're making sure he's not going to certain spots.
Yeah, like it's not that he's a bad guy.
He's pulling the Manning stuff.
Yeah.
And it's annoying.
It's the same thing. It's the same
exact thing. And
the
Porter
Mannings
didn't do nothing like that. Now it's corner versus a quarterback. I get that, but at the same time, he's pulling that same shit that Manning did, and that shit's annoying. So that's why he's more over the top to me than Porter is. He's already pulled that bullshit. So
he's got a lot more pull than Porter too, because he's this high profile coach and player, and so he could. No, my point is he can make it worse on a team than Joey Porter could, because no one's going to invite Joey Porter on, ESPN show and talk in a national thing.
But if the team thinks Shador's good enough, they're going to take him. Like, they're not going to. I mean,
I don't think that would scare the Steelers away from taking him if they really thought.
Well, I meant any team in general.
Tomlin's not afraid of anybody.
Yeah, no. I just don't see him. I mean, now that the dust is kind of settled and the unnamed executive went away, I mean, this kid, bottom line, is the second best quarterback in the draft. Whether he's going to be a great pro is incidental. He's the second best quarterback in the draft.
I agree.
Unquestioned to me.
It's not unquestioned for sure. It's not unquestioned. But
he was second going in. He's going to be second going out.
He's probably going to be second taken.
You two just can't control yourselves. We
disagree
podcast, we're
completely on
the consensus number 2 guy. Whatever.
Steelers were at Notre Dame today. I don't know why. They don't really have
I really hope they
prospects.
don't pick the Morrison kid.
I hope so too.
Wouldn't mind the tight end in the middle rounds. He's a bad player.
That's what I mean. After the corner, there's not really much. Maybe they just had nothing to do and decided, let's stop at Notre Dame.
Hey, you know what? You want a running quarterback? Fucking take Riley Leonard.
Oh, jeez. No.
I don't like Riley Leonard at all, but if we're going to get a running quarterback that we won't let fucking run, then fine, go get Riley Leonard.
And we fully expect them to be at Ole Miss tomorrow, not just for Dart, but they got Nolan, they got the wide receiver, the corner. They got a lot of prospects.
Trey Amos, Trey Harris,
yeah,
JJ
they got a lot of
Pegas.
prospects. Yeah, Pegas too that they've already talked to. Yeah, I would be shocked if they end up there. So, and that's pretty much it for pro days. I think that's the last major one. After that, they made their rounds. You know, the old thing is if the Steelers don't visit your pro day, you're probably not going to be the first round pick. So we'll see if that holds true or not. I know Fuatano wasn't, but that was kind of a crazy one-off where he fell a lot further than anybody thought. So,
yeah, I mean, also remember one thing to remember this whole, you know, we have, I mean, he got Queen, he got Slay this year. Don't count out something before the draft where Omar comes up with some kind of trade beyond DK that surprises us once he knows where he actually is. I think, I mean, I'm just convinced there has to be okay, yeah, we're not announcing it, but I'm coming. Because I mean, at this point, it wouldn't matter because they have no other choice.
Are you referring to Rodgers, or what do you mean?
yeah.
I think there's a wink deal for Rodgers, but I'm also thinking there could still be a trade in the mix. With DK only having 11 million, even if they do extend TJ, which I think they'll get done before the season, there could be a little surprise. Maybe we find a piece like a corner we're not thinking about, or maybe they do go get a wide receiver and take wide receiver completely out of
Who are
play.
we letting go of?
Noah and Omar, a bag of Oreos and a third-round draft pick.
Okay, I didn't know if you're insinuating that
you can't name very many
this.
trades. Yeah, you can't name very many trades that Omar has lost.
That Pickens thing is still dangling out there. I'm still not convinced he's going to be on the opening day roster. I still think that could end up happening.
But like we talked about, it has to be a second or a first, which I don't think they'll get, which is why I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
Again, yeah. I mean, if some team thinks he's better than anyone else in the draft after a certain point, maybe they pull the trigger. Who knows?
Well, he is better than everybody in this draft. There's no question.
I would say maybe only Golden was close. But
I mean, Golden could eventually, but today
then you got to counteract that with the Pickens being a pain in the ass. So you got to take that into consideration and say, well, do I want to deal with that or just draft somebody? It'll be interesting. I can tell you this: we're gonna have plenty of Pickens content throughout this year if he's on this team without a long-term contract. We're gonna be talking about him multiple times.
Well, as soon as the Rodgers talk is done and it's either done or not done, I said the end of the month. I think now at this point it's just too perfectly set up where McAfee's in town, Rodgers is a free agent, the Steelers are the leading player. I mean, honestly, if it were me and I was okay, I want to come to the Steelers, I would tell them wink, yeah, look, guys, I'm coming. Just relax. We're not going to announce it, and I'm not going to sign shit because if you leak it, I'm not coming. But yeah, I'm doing this on the McAfee show, live, and it's going to be an awesome moment if it happens. I can't wait to see it. I hope they. I mean, I know it's a private ticketed event, but I hope they.
What's the date on that again?
April 9th.
So it's a little over a week away, 10 days away-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, it's in Pittsburgh.
I guess so. I guess I could see that happening.
McAfee's a WWE guy. Come on, the lights are going to go down. There's going to bring music.
Wait.
The guy walks out.
Hey, where is this at again in Pittsburgh?
Is it PNG?
PBG, Paints Arena. Yeah, where the Pens play. Wow. I might have to look into this.
Dave's going to go.
Yeah, I might be going to that bad boy if I can. Well, it depends on my schedule, but yeah.
Come on, you could really play this up. Are the Pirates in town that weekend?
13 days, Vaughn said. 13 days away.
Let me try to look it up real quick. If on the app I can bring up their schedule, if it'll load quickly. What day did you say? On the 9th of April?
Yeah, April 9th.
Right here. They are away at St. Louis. No, it's home. I'm sorry. It's home against St. Louis.
Oh, come on now. Skeens it comes out grabs the mic.
Here we go.
Introducing.
Jeez, Bob's got this all planned out.
He does.
You should be an event planner.
If you don't think McAfee has this shit planned, I just do at this point. I think, and Pompiani was kind of the first to really go out on this and say, hey, this is what I think is going to happen. But I agree with him. The more I thought about it, I was like, it's just a made for, and it would be a way to get a lot of good feeling behind Rodgers, because anybody who's feeling negative about him, come on, you walk out to 20,000 people screaming, oh my God, we got Rodgers.
Is Dan Rooney rolling in his grave right now listening to you to say this is how their quarterback's going to be announced? He's probably freaking just dying.
You want to really make it crazy? It's not Sid or Skeens that announce him. It's Bradshaw, and he tells him he could wear 12.
Wow.
Oh, God, Bob, you're really up on
man, you should have been a director or something.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
I mean, it'd be great, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Which,
I did
by
see
the way,
this too.
He won't wear 12. There's no fucking way. I would not be happy with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
If Terry Bradshaw said it was all right, I guess he could, I guess they could pull that off.
If he said, what the fuck? They gave 88 to Freiermuth.
True.
Right.
Crazy.
Right.
But anyways.
And they do that a lot with the numbers. Like, there's some numbers that I know they didn't retire, but
still
let it breathe a little bit.
Can there be some respect? Jesus whiz.
All right, that's
I think the preseason we're 58.
Yeah, which is
again,
to me that's
disrespectful as fuck.
Very. That number should be retired.
That's the next one that should be retired. Yeah,
it should have been retired a long time ago.
Well, I mean, it is kind of special that they only have 3, but 58 and 12 before they pass. Let's get
that should be a
100%.
no-brainer, guys.
100%.
Like, how do you not?
Yeah,
that's 2 legends right there. I mean, I don't know. I don't agree with it. I just don't.
Yeah, it's tough. And then didn't they give Antonio Brown's number away like the next season?
Oh,
I know he's not going to ever have his number retired, but
yeah,
I mean,
dude, that's
Christ.
different for me. I'm sorry.
I know, but I would.
That's different. This is way different.
It's to me, it's a little bit Jesus. The guy did carry you for 6-7 seasons
and shit on you on the way out. Come on,
he did.
The
I can't argue with that.
Even their issues with even the issues with Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw never.
No, nobody touches Antonio
Brown.
He's another level.
And one won you 4 rings, the other none. Like there's no comparison.
Right. I've written a bunch of articles about Bradshaw, and I will say this: I don't think his number will ever be retired, because I think the family has hard feelings about him not going to Art's funeral, which he has freely admitted was a mistake.
Show Vaughn's he ain't getting 8.
That's funny.
They don't retire that number for bad luck. They never bring it back.
Wait a minute.
I'm fucking dying, bro.
Wait a minute. That was Tommy Maddox's number.
Yeah.
I don't care. Kenny Pickett ruined it for everybody for the end of time. Yeah. Put it away.
How dare they give Tommy's number to fucking Pickett?
Oh, God.
It would be interesting to see what he picks. I hope he doesn't pick 8, to be honest with you. It would be funny.
He's going to want 12. He's going to want 12.
Oh, dude.
He's going to want it.
Can't do it.
Just remember, Kenny Pickett starting in Cleveland. Justin Fields starting for the Jets. Russell Wilson starting for the Giants on opening day.
Yeah.
Who says we can't pick quarterbacks?
Maybe you could get 2 instead of 12. Maybe you could wear number 2. That would be something like a compromise, I guess. I don't know. All right. That's all I got. Unless you guys got. What is it?
Pretty sure Mason's going to wear 2.
Oh, well.
Yeah, true. No, that's a good point.
Who's gonna walk in the locker room?
Oh yeah, Uncle Aaron might go,
demand a number and get it.
That's cute, Mason.
I was gonna make a rude comment, but
Yeah.
Yeah. If Aaron wants 2, he gets 2. All right, guys. That's all I got. Unless you got anything else.
Nope.
No. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Great job as usual, guys. Hey, go to the store. Scan the QR code. We're working on linking into the Steeler Sanctuary website, so it'll be a little easier to order. Remember, Sunday we have the live draft show. We have a special guest, the draft professor. If you don't know who that is, go up on his website. It's draftprofessor.com. He's got a cool mock draft engine, but he's going to be on with us Sunday, so we can talk over some prospects and all that good stuff.
Look forward to that.
It'd be a different perspective from a non-Steeler fan, but he's a draft guru, so we should get some interesting nuggets.
If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, guys. That'll help us out a lot. Hit that like button too. That helps us keep those comments going, even after if you're watching it. If you're not watching this live and you're watching it, you can still hit those comments. We still read them. We appreciate all that stuff. And until Sunday, thanks for listening to the Steelers Sanctuary podcast.
Talk to you soon.
Ain't nothing over till it's over.
What's that from, the 80s?
It's probably in the 70s.
This is disappointing as hell.
Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Yo, come back now, you hear?
Probably worth the Google.
Saw that coming.